Hi guys, today's video is going to be something that was actually requested. So I love getting requests from you guys because it shows me what you're most interested in seeing. Maybe I'll be able to see like a pattern or a trend in, the topics that people are most interested in manifestation, and of course what my actual viewers and subscribers want to see. They also asked for a video about thought transmission. So I'm going to do a little bit of research, make sure I understand that topic and think about have I ever experienced it myself so I can talk about it more in depth. But that video will also be coming up at some point. So today is going to be about what your SP is experiencing as you're manifesting them. So probably another popular topic because we all need SP advice, and that's the common issue I see with people. They can manifest more easily tangible things, but when it comes to relationships and people, they struggle a little bit more because our emotions are involved. So I do hope this video gives you some more insight and clarity and reassurance, just so you can chill out, calm down during your manifestation process and understand that your SP is conforming. I've done a whole video about why they are conforming, why they have to. So do go watch that as well if you'd like to learn more about what your SP experiences, how the whole manifestation process goes with an SP. I've got quite a few videos about them. So do thumbs up and subscribe if that sounds interesting and useful. And if you'd like to see more content from me about manifestation, then please do thumbs up, subscribe, and also turn on the notifications bell because I post pretty much every single day about this topic. And let's get started. And before I forget, I also want to say, just in case there are new viewers here, I do offer one-on-one coaching. The link for my Instagram is below for LOA coaching. I offer one-on-one help if you feel that that's something you'd like. So first point, let's get started. So first point is that your SP, it doesn't have to be a romantic person. I'm going to put it more in the context of romantically, but this applies to any person that you're manifesting. Just obviously some things like them realizing they're in love with you won't apply to your cousin or your mum or your boss at work, obviously, but the general theme of what they're going through applies to any SP. So that was a really weird example, but you know what I'm trying to say. So first point is that your SP is going to start having new thoughts that align with your focus, with your affirmations, and it's just going to align them even closer with what you're affirming. Whatever thoughts and visuals that you're focusing on, the general theme, if it's, they really miss me, they want to text me right now, they're writing out, texting me right now, whatever the general theme is, they're going to have thoughts that align with that positively bring them closer to you, align them to that goal. They're going to start thinking, I want to text her, or, oh, we haven't spoken in a while, or they'll message a friend on WhatsApp, and your conversation will happen to be underneath that friend's message as well, and they'll notice and they'll start thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't spoken to her in a while, has it really been 6 months since our last text? Whatever, something along the lines of thoughts that bring you, closer together, even though it's not the 3D movement yet. It's their behind the scenes experience, but it's leading them into doing what you want them to do. So essentially they have to conform, so they have to do whatever you want them to do. But I'm just going to try and break down more examples to show you guys what they actually might be thinking and experiencing. So next point is that they could start thinking about you obsessively or at just random times when it's not necessarily against their free will, because they don't even have free will to start with, but it's more so that they don't want to think about you obsessively. They're like, oh my gosh, I just can't get this girl out of my head. Like, even if you're in love with someone, it's not the best experience to just sit and obsess and you just can't stop thinking about them. It's almost like it gets a bit annoying. So they might be going through that. If you affirm things like, they're obsessed with me, I'm all they think about, I'm their first thought in the morning, last thought at night. I got that one from Roxy Talks. Is that her? No, is that her username? Roxy? You had that affirmation. I thought that was really great. So if you affirm things like that about them just constantly wanting to be with you, thinking about you nonstop, talking about you nonstop, they will most probably very soon, I would say it could be from a minute after you say your affirmation, it could be 3 weeks after you say your affirmation, but at some point behind the scenes as they conform, they could start thinking obsessively about you if that's what your theme of affirmations focuses on. Or it could be randomly. They could see an advert and there could be a woman or a man in that advert who looks like you, and it will remind them of you and they'll start thinking about you. All these little moments, all these little experiences are their version of birds before land, in my opinion. Like, it's their signs, and they don't understand it in the terms of manifestation, but to them it's like a sign, because it makes them think more positively about you, makes them think about you more, it makes them miss you and want to reach out to you, obviously, because your affirmations will be focused on them having positive feelings towards you. So if they think about you more, they want you more, they miss you more, right? It all correlates together, and one thing could almost just have a domino effect on everything. It could lead, you know, them to then mention you to their friend, be like, God, I keep seeing this girl's name everywhere. I keep seeing girls who look like my ex, and they'll be referencing you. And then their friend will say something and be like, well, do you actually want to get back with her? And then they start thinking about getting back with you. You know, it could spiral in a positive way in that way. So really, they could be having all sorts of positive thoughts, whether it's all day long and they just become obsessed with you in a good way, or that it's just at random moments that aren't really random because you created them, but to them it's like unexpected moments during their day. Another point, this is something that I've personally experienced with SPs, is they will forget negative experiences. They will stop, like if you've had a really bad argument, if you broke up over a really bad argument, or you've just had a lot of drama and back and forth and being on and off, or they said horrible things to you, whatever it is, they will start to forget those experiences. It won't even, they'll either completely you will have revised those experiences and their mind will just be cleared of those memories, or it just won't even come to their mind. Because when you love someone, when you care about someone, you usually focus more on the good. You kind of forget and let go of the bad and make excuses for it and kind of justify it, and you're like, it's not that bad, right? So that's kind of what they'll be going through. They'll either, like I said, completely forget it and it just won't even come to their mind. They'll be like, oh, but the last time we spoke, you know, she was so rude to me. Like, they're not going to be thinking like that when they're conforming to affirmations. They're just probably, yeah, I mean, I've had this where I've had SPs literally talk to me like nothing has ever happened, that no time has passed, there's been no issues between us. They just talk to me like, you know, we were super close this whole time. So honestly, they will not remember or focus on the bad things. So don't stress yourself out thinking, but why would they reach out to me? You know, I was so mean to them, we shouted at each other last time. It doesn't matter. Not only is it a past experience, so it's completely irrelevant, they're going to conform to your affirmations, which only focus on positive things. And especially if you're revising an argument or breakup, it's going to be like it never ever happened for them. That ties into my first few points, and the example of them talking to their friends is they most probably, not necessarily, because sometimes it can be internal, you know, especially with men, I find that they probably don't externalize and like articulate their feelings with friends or family. I think men generally keep it more to themselves, more so than women, you know, talking to their girlfriends or something. So they may not necessarily have conversations with their friends about you. They might not admit to their friends that they're in love with you or that they want you back or something. They might like just work through it internally in their own minds. But one thing that is quite common and that will most probably happen, I've seen it in many other people's stories, is that they'll have conversations about you, positive ones. Whether it's someone mentions your name, it might not even be referencing you. They might be like, oh my God, did you see that new show with Emma? And your name is Emma, and it will remind them of you. So it could be kind of starting from that point, or it could literally be their mum, their best friend, their colleague, you know, whoever. It could be anyone in their life that knows about you, and they'll just ask you, be like, oh, have you spoken to Emma lately? I'm just using that random name, but have you spoken to John lately? And the conversation will start from there, and it will help them realize, you know what, I do want to talk to them. I do want to reach out to them. You know what, I'm going to text her later tonight. And you're sat there at home affirming, checking your phone, being like, no, I'm not going to react to the 3D. Okay, he hasn't messaged me yet, and I've been affirming for 3 weeks that he texts me every day, but the text hasn't come through yet, but I'm just going to persist because he loves me. And there he is at the exact same moment as you're affirming, sat, you know, across town, across the other side of the city, telling himself, at 5 p.m. today when I finish work, I'm gonna text her. And you don't know this because it's behind the scenes, it's in his own mind. But these are the sorts of things that are happening to your SP. If you're persisting and affirming and being consistent, 100% they are conforming in this way. It can take a little bit of time, but just know that behind the scenes, any of these examples, one or all of them could be happening right now. And that's what you need to assume, because if you assume it, it will become true regardless. This isn't necessarily positive or negative, but it's just part of their conforming journey. It ties into another point I'll say in a moment. It's them battling thoughts and desires. I've seen this for myself. I've seen it play out in a literal conversation in real life with an SP, where I could see them kind of battling back and forth with what to do. Do they want to go forward? Do they want to like hold back still? And I've seen it for other people's stories as well. They kind of have this hot and cold experience. They're battling through the thoughts of wanting you back, wanting to reach out to you, wanting to admit their feelings to you, literally just wanting to profess their love to you. It could be like any positive moment. It could be even just, we haven't spoken in a year, like, should I text her right now? Should I just be like, hey, how have you been? Or hey, what's up? Or like, they could be battling back and forth those thoughts because because they don't have free will, so they're conforming. But to them, it's something new and different that for the past weeks or months or however long you've kept them in that negative state, you know, they're suddenly changing and suddenly having these thoughts and ideas of, I want to text her, maybe I should text her. And all these sudden desires and wants and thoughts are coming up. So it's kind of like them battling their own mind. They don't understand necessarily why. I mean, they could be thinking up already like, oh, it's because, you know, we're meant to be together. They could genuinely believe that and think that for themselves. Or they might be like, what the hell is going on? Why am I suddenly thinking about this girl all the time? Why am I thinking about her? You know, why do I want to text her so much? Like, why has this suddenly come up? They could be going through that bit of back and forth, as well as the issue of hot and cold behavior. If you want more of an in-depth video, I can do that too. But generally speaking, for the behind the scenes movement, they most of the time, even for a short period of time, will go through a hot and cold period where, of course, they're not going to wake up one day and be 100% conformed and show up at your door with a love note and roses the next morning after you started affirming. That's probably not how it's going to happen. But they're going through this hot and cold of, you know, conforming and accepting these new thoughts and wants that they have about you. But also, if you're hot and cold in your affirmations and your assumptions and the way you're controlling your thoughts, because, you know, when I say control, I mean with a mental diet. Whatever thoughts come up, you deal with them as they come up. But if you're allowing a lot of negative doubts and you're like, is it working? Like, I don't think he's conformed yet. He's going to go back to that cold, because the hot has had him conforming behind the scenes. But then the cold has your person, you know, questioning it, moving a step back one day, and then the next day you persist super hard, so they're moving forward a bit more hot, if that makes sense. So it is ultimately up to you. And yeah, they will go through a little bit of questioning in their own mind. They are humans with, you know, cognitive abilities, so they are going to think to themselves and try and find reasons for why they're falling in love with you, why they're realizing all these things right now. They're gonna think that to themselves and maybe have conversations regarding it, but ultimately they'll get out of the cold phase eventually. So just to touch quickly on the issue of a third party, 3P, I might do a whole video. Actually, I realized that I've never even done a video about this. I should. Let me know if that is something you want. I think quite a few people and some of my clients have mentioned this, so perhaps it would be a good video idea. But one thing is, if they do have a 3P in the picture, then they're going to start arguing them. They're going to be having experiences that push them further away. They're just going to move further apart from them, whether it's breaking up, hating them. Not that you would be creating the hate, but like it would lead to potentially them hating their third party, finding out bad things that they've done in the past. Like, it could be anything, just anything that pushes them away from that third party, from the relationship with them. That's also going to happen. You don't even need to necessarily affirm for a third party, but it's going to happen regardless. So just a few more points is that another quick point is that they'll start missing you. That one is pretty self-explanatory. They'll just have these emotions and feelings for you. They'll be like, God, I miss her, I miss him. Like, they'll reminisce about old times. that will make them want to reach out even more, maybe go back over old videos, memories, conversations, travel experiences you've had together, whatever. You know, they'll just start feeling those positive emotions for you as well. And yeah, they will desire to reach out to you. This is probably the case for every single person, because regardless of what you're manifesting, in order for things to happen between you two, they have to reach out to you. They have to contact you in one way or another, whether it's a friend of a friend telling you the things, whether it's them showing up at your door, emailing you, anything. They have to reach out to you, and they have to have that desire come up. So that is what they're experiencing behind the scenes. Hopefully that all made sense. I hope this was clarifying, gave you guys some reassurance and insight into what your SP is experiencing, whether it's one or all of those things. Those are the most common examples of what I've experienced and what I've seen other people experience, that they find out about their SP later, once they've fully conformed and come back. So do thumbs up and subscribe if you like this, if you'd like more SP content, and I'll see you next time. Bye!